That's the worst nightmare of every Vespisti. Cheers guys, how's life? Look at that. I'll show you a new function of a Vespa engine. You see that? I've been there, done that. I managed to hook in the Kickstarter. That's the worst nightmare of every Vespisti. It wasn't that bad, the feeling. I just thought I lost the exhaust and drove over it, or a big stone suddenly jumped out of the ground. Yeah. Still, this happens. On high speed, you make a super high sider.
Woohoo, scared! Big round. Hilarious. Why would it stay down? That's interesting.
So what happened? Forget the brand, that's why I zoomed in. This applies for every engine, as it is the same gearbox. Something happened that the Kickstarter gear and the primary is fully connected. So most probably some dirt came in between. I'm gonna analyze it a little bit, measure it. It's between 0.05 and 0.1 millimeter tolerance here. You can actually see and feel the difference between new ones and used ones. And yeah, it doesn't sit on the primary only when the Kickstarter pushes it down, then to turn the gearbox to start the engine. Something happened here, dirt, something came between, and both parts got welded. Let's open the engine and see, where did this dirt come from? Did I not clean it enough? Did something jump into the gearbox? Did the sprocket scratch the engine case? I heard that from replica engine cases that this might happen. The other one. Yeah, let's open it up. What will happen when this happens at high speed? Not so good. High sider, catapult. You're gonna be shot away from the scooter, and the traffic will do you no good. Definitely not. Cheers, guys. The gearbox is turning, and the Kickstarter gear is not. And when something comes in between these two parts, and this is kind of welded together, then it jumps onto it, and the Kickstarter turns, of course. But look at that. That's the new one. Used one. New one. That's a big difference. The tolerance is so little. Of course, oil gets in. Everything that swims in oil, like this crap here. When something is striping or when you're milling something, when it comes in between these two parts, then the Kickstarter gear gets stuck, gets welded on the primary. Oiled, new gear. Let's see how it turns. Let's measure it. Look, can even twist it. That's how it's supposed to be. Cheers, guys.
That I think the original motor has. I think the O-tune motor just makes the original motor better. And I had the O-tune cylinder on before this one, the version 1 that FMP built, and it did 40,000 Ks, and this one's better again. This one has more top end and it's a bit different.
Your O-tune motor was the smoothest I've ever ridden. What's interesting about jetting? So we've both got the same carb.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to figure out. I think you were saying that you think at the high RPMs, mine is still a little bit too rich.
I think so. That's how. Yeah, it feels.
And I'm running a 130.
Yeah.
And yours is now on a 122.
It's a 122 today. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's it's pulling 500 RPM more than it did with a 125.
Yeah.
But also cleaned up the mid-range an awful lot. You rode it before.
Yeah,
it was running like a dog in there.
Just cruising today on that bike, it was really, really damn impressive.
Yeah.
Now I don't know, there was a butterfly cut done to the exhaust port. I don't know if you can feel what is that intended to do.
Well, he's opened up the top of the exhaust port is a little bit wider than sort of lower down. It's sort of a funny shape here, but I think the idea is that it gives you more top end, but you're keeping some more without losing all the bottom end. So. Or exhaust port timing without losing that.
So it's a compromise, like not a compromise,
yeah.
But the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Ein Biest!
Sorry.
Bist du deppert, ist das ein Biest jetzt?